You think your secrets are safe, but what happens when the one thing you never wanted anyone to read falls into the wrong hands? My heart dropped when I saw them holding my diary. In that moment, I realized nothing would ever be the same again. They say privacy is a right, but when it's taken from you, it feels like your entire world is ripped apart. I thought my parents would understand, but instead, they betrayed me in the most painful way possible. The words in that diary were more than just thoughts. They were my soul laid bare. Now, I can't look at them the same way. When they read my diary, I felt exposed, vulnerable, and completely helpless. The worst part, they didn't even apologize. How do you rebuild trust after it's been shattered in the worst way possible? My parents' mistake destroyed everything I knew. It's a feeling you can't describe when your privacy is violated and you're left wondering if anything you say is safe. I never thought something as simple as a diary could change my entire relationship with the people I love most. They say knowledge is power, but when the knowledge is about someone you love, it can destroy everything you thought you knew about them. They thought they were protecting me, but what they didn't realize was that they were tearing me apart from the inside out. The day they read my diary is a day I will never forget. It changed the way I saw them and the way they saw me. You know how it feels to have your most intimate thoughts exposed. I do, and it broke me in ways I never expected. How do you recover when your personal life is suddenly on display for the people who are supposed to love you unconditionally? The shock of seeing my parents read my private thoughts was nothing compared to the devastation I felt afterward. That day wasn't just a betrayal, it was a permanent scar in our relationship. Trust, once lost, is hard to rebuild. It's as if I became a stranger to them the moment they read my deepest secrets. How do you come back from that? In one instant, everything changed. A simple mistake, and my entire world came crashing down. I can't erase the image of them holding my diary. It haunts me every day, and I can't shake the feeling of betrayal. When your parents read your diary, it's like your entire world is out of your control. They know everything, and you feel naked. I always thought my diary was my safe place, but when they cracked it open, my privacy was no longer mine. The words they read weren't meant for their eyes, and once they saw them, it was like they could never look at me the same way again. It's not just about what was in the diary, it's about the trust that was shattered and the love that was never the same after. How could they have been so careless? How could they not see the damage they'd caused? My life, my privacy, my heart, all destroyed. I never thought I would feel so disconnected from my own family. The words in that diary changed everything. My emotions were raw, my thoughts unfiltered, and now they were staring at them, questioning everything I had ever said. It was a moment of silence that spoke volumes. They had crossed a line, and nothing could bring that feeling of betrayal back. I thought I knew my parents, but the way they reacted when they read my diary made me question everything I knew about them. Once they read my diary, it was as if a wall went up between us. The trust was gone, and I was left to pick up the pieces. Sometimes the people you trust the most can hurt you in ways you never imagined. I never thought my parents could betray me like this. The worst part wasn't just that they read my diary, it was that they didn't even apologize. They just pretended it never happened. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run away. But instead, I stood there in silence, watching everything I knew crumble. What do you do when the people you love most become the ones who hurt you the most? That's the question I'm still trying to answer. One moment of carelessness changed everything. My private thoughts were no longer my own, and nothing was ever the same again. I didn't know how to face them after that. They knew things about me I wasn't ready for them to understand. The more I thought about it, the more I realized. Once they read my diary, they could never see me the same way again. There are things you can forgive, but this was different. My parents violated the one thing I had left, my privacy. I couldn't understand why they did it. Was I not allowed to have my own space? Was my diary not my own safe haven? They didn't get it. They didn't understand how much that diary meant to me, or how it felt to have them read it without my consent. That night, when I found out, I couldn't breathe. My heart raced as I realized that everything was about to change. Sometimes, I wish I could go back to before they read my diary, back to when I didn't feel like I was living in a nightmare. How do you rebuild a relationship when all the trust is gone? When they've read your private thoughts and made judgments you can't take back? It was supposed to be a place where I could be myself, but now my diary is just a painful reminder of what I lost. I never wanted to hurt them, but the truth is, once they read my diary, everything changed, and I couldn't go back. The silence that followed was deafening. It was the kind of silence that speaks louder than words ever could. How do you face the people who are supposed to protect you when they become the ones who hurt you most? You can't unsee what's already been seen. And once my parents read my diary, things were never the same between us. It wasn't just about the secrets in the diary. It was about the trust we lost, the understanding that was shattered. There are some things you can't take back, The day they read my diary was one of those things. I can still feel the weight of their eyes on me, like they were judging me for every word I wrote. Once they read my diary, they thought they knew me, but they didn't understand what it meant to have your private thoughts exposed. I never expected them to betray me like this. I thought they would respect my boundaries, my privacy, but they didn't. What do you do when you've been betrayed by the people you trust most? I still don't know how to move past it. That diary was my escape, my safe place. And now it feels like the place where everything went wrong. They had no right to read it, but they did. And now I'm left to pick up the pieces of the trust they shattered. There are things in that diary that I never wanted anyone to see, but my parents found them, and I can't forget what happened next. I feel exposed, like I've been stripped of my dignity. They read my deepest thoughts, and nothing feels private anymore. My parents always said they loved me, but love doesn't come with boundaries that are so easily crossed. The worst part wasn't the secrets in the diary. It was how everything between us shifted the moment they read it. The trust we shared is gone now. The bond we had is broken. And I don't know how to fix what they've done. Once they read my diary, I felt like a stranger in my own home. The bond we shared was forever changed, and I didn't know how to cope. I wanted to scream, to run away, to escape the reality that my most personal thoughts were now in their hands. The betrayal cut deeper than any physical wound. My heart still aches from the moment they read those words. The person I thought they saw me as no longer existed. Once they read my diary, it was as if I was a different person to them. I still don't understand why they did it. Why couldn't they respect my privacy, the one thing that was truly mine? It felt like my soul was laid bare, exposed to the very people I thought would always protect me. Now, I feel vulnerable in ways I never have before. How do you go back to the way things were when everything you said, everything you thought, has been stripped away and analyzed? I kept my diary to keep my thoughts safe, to have a space where I could breathe. But now it feels like I'm suffocating under the weight of their judgment. What was supposed to be my safe place became a battlefield, and my parents, they were my enemies. The worst part wasn't even the confrontation, it was the silence afterward, the unspoken tension that lingered in the air. They didn't even apologize. They read my diary and acted like nothing had changed, but everything had. The things they found in my diary weren't just secrets. They were pieces of me, and now they're tainted forever. I thought I could trust them with my heart, but when they read my diary, I realized trust is something you can lose in an instant. It felt like my privacy, my autonomy, had been stolen from me. I had nothing left that felt truly mine. It's hard to explain what it feels like when the people who gave you life turn into strangers after reading your private thoughts. You never truly understand how much you value your privacy until it's invaded in the most personal way possible. That moment when I caught them reading my diary is still burned into my memory. It was the day I realized how fragile trust really is. Everything changed that day. My world was flipped upside down, and I couldn't figure out how to get back to who I was before. They never understood that diary was my refuge, the one place where I could pour out my heart without judgment. Now it's been violated beyond repair. I keep wondering if I hadn't written it all down, would they have ever found out? Would they still see me the same way?